Let's hear it for Joe Wilson, Smyrna, Georgia.
You've been cheating on me. I've been cheating on you.
What is up, YouTube? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. For those that are new to the channel, I'm Joe Wilson, just your average dumb traveler, trying to make videos related to triathlon, whether swimming, biking, running. You'll find all those cool things right here on this channel. And guys, it's been a minute. I mean, it's been about a year since I put out a video, but since I did Ironman 70.3 Chattanooga last week, and I thought maybe I'll talk about it. So here's my race recap on that race. And I'm not gonna bore you guys with like, oh, I drove up and then I stayed in this hotel and then I drove. No. Let's talk about the race and the race only. This is number 8 for me. I've done 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 was canceled because of, the 19, COVID, and then 21, 22, 23, and then this year. 2 first places, a second place, third place, and 2 fourth places. So in my age group. So I know this course a little pretty well, and I'd say it's last weekend was my 20th overall 70.3. So here's how it went down, right? Basically with Chattanooga, it's a swim start. It's downriver, it's fast, but it's 1.4 miles, so it basically evens itself out. I still probably swim faster in Chattanooga than I would say swim in a lake or an ocean or something like that. I'm like a 140, 135 on a good day, 140 per 100 on a normal day. And so, with the river, it had been raining leading up to the race, and so I knew that the swim was going to be pretty fast. It was faster than it was last year. Last year I went 32 minutes over 1.4 miles. This year I went 30:55 over 1.4 miles, which was big win for me, for this guy. So I lined up, in the front, probably about 5 minutes before everybody started getting in. And then I jumped in. The water's cold, probably like 72 for me. So that's cold to me. And so I jumped in, and the river's big. I mean, it's massive. So you got people all over the place, and it's a straight shot. You don't have to turn. There's no swim on the right side of the buoy, left side of the buoy. You just swim. And so I like to stay over to the left because I am a scaredy cat of swimming, and I've freaked out a couple times. It's who I am, 10 years in this sport, I'm not the best swimmer. But anyway, so jumped in the water, started swimming, felt pretty good that first 500. My watch is going off. I'm like, okay, that felt good. Next 500, that felt good too. Get to the first bridge at 1,500 yards, and I'm like, okay, when we getting out of the water, and I'm looking over. There's the island. So I'm swimming. Get through under the first bridge, feeling good. Second bridge, pretty good. I'm just kind of by myself. There's a couple people that passed me. I try to jump on some feet. It's all for naught. And so finally, it's pretty uneventful swim for me. But I come out. Look down, you run up the steps, people pull you out, look down, 30:55, and I'm like, or something like that, I don't remember exactly, but it was under 31 minutes. I'm like, yes, all right, let's go. So then, jump out of the water, run down the river walk, up the steps, up the ramp, run into transition, and guys, I had the perfect spot. Literally, it was 20 yards from run exit. So instead of trying to mess with my shoes on the bike, I threw my shoes on and I'm waddling out there. It's probably 50 yards, and I immediately jump on my bike. And man, I've been working with some people, a lot of training lately, or not lately, but just a lot of training, over the winter and spring. And then also, I worked with my buddy Brian Stover to do some aero testing. We got into an even better spot. It's comfortable, it's fast, I felt good, had a new kit on, and so I jump on the bike and I just started hammering. It's 65 degrees, perfect weather, and I just was ride as hard as, ride within your effort, but ride hard. And so come up the hill, start passing people, boom. It's just feeling good, Unfortunately, about mile 3, I hit the first railroad track, and my seat went from like this to to like this, and I'm like, oh great, this is gonna suck. But it was tilted down. I'm like, just ride, probably have to deal with it on the run, but because I felt like the seat had fallen, but I'm just like, well, what choices do you have? So I'm riding, hit the railroad tracks. By the third one, I'm like, get up out of the railroad tracks. For anybody that has never done Chattanooga, we got some railroad tracks in the first 5 miles that you have to be careful with. 17, I broke a stem, going over some. I had a friend of mine, he ended his race last Sunday because he went over an arrow. So if you ever do this race, you're doing Chattanooga, when you get on the bike, first 5 miles, never arrow across railroad tracks. It will ruin your day. Anyway, back to the race. So start riding, and it's basically an out, lollipop, back in, right? And so get out, and man, I just felt good. Just rolling over hills. I had a couple people, like one guy passed me, and I'm kind of marking him about 12 meters, and then it's just riding. I'm well over 25 miles an hour, and I'm like, this is awesome, just feeling good. And and before I even knew it, like mile 26 hit, and I'm at Andrews, and I'm like, okay, jump up. I got a 1x, it's a tiny 1x, it's like 50 on the front, but I had to put out a bunch of watts. So come up the hill, it's like maybe a quarter mile, it's like 10 to 12%. I'm jumping out of the saddle, putting out like 500 watts, get to the top, pass everybody, and then it's just like straight shot for about a mile, and you're doing like 35, 40 miles an hour. It's like a roller coaster. You're like, yeah, boom, let's go. And so all of a sudden, about mile two, as I'm descending down this hill, about to turn on the hog jowl, buddy of mine pulls up next to me, and he's like, let's go. And I was like, or he just kind of waved at me, I think. Maybe in my head I said, let's go. But he like waved at me, and I was like, oh, this dude called me. All right. He's much stronger triathlete. He beat me by 10 minutes last year. Anyway, he comes out, gets way ahead of me, and I was like, no, I'm going to use this guy to pull me all the way back into town. And so there was 2 other guys that we were like in a line, and I said, don't let him go, because he'll pull us. And sure enough, we get into like a 4-man train, 12 meters apart, and then we're just like, time traveling back into town, and I'm feeling good. And I'm like, anytime like there would be a gap, I would like close it, to about 12 meters, and I'm just like rolling, and we're like passing people, and kind rotating, through to make sure everybody's, doing equal amounts of, pulling. They say that's for the pros, but if you're like in the front or near the front of the age group race, you can also do that too. And I've done that many times, racing legally, 12 meters, I don't draft, but 12 meters, that does work for you, because if you're in a line of 4 people, people, you could be sitting on the back, and that's the difference of 10, 15 watts, So like my watts probably went from 230, 240 going out to about 220, 230 coming back into town. MP like 230, like there was a lot more spikes and everything. Anyway, so we get in Chickamauga, do the little climb. There's more people, and then get to the top, Chickamauga. And once you get to the top, it is like, boom, it's a fast descent. And so we're like I'm doing like 40 miles an hour. I'm like 45 miles an hour. I'm like, yeah, buddy, let's go. If you like to descend, that's the spot for you in this race. And so descended, go around, there's another little hill, then another descent, and then the last aid station, and then you come back into town. And the last 5, from mile 10 to the border, is just, you can just get arrow and just go. And so like, I get arrow, and there's a few guys around me, and I'm just like all the way back into town, doing 25, 26, 27 miles an hour. I'm like, yeah, buddy, this feels so good. Get into town, and then you almost have to ride it like a road bike. You can't hammer as much as you would want to once you get down. There's so many turns, and the roads are screwed up in Chattanooga. They've gotten a lot better, but there's still some spots, railroad tracks, you're making all these turns, and there's some cracks, So get back into town, and I'm like, all right, man, I'm cooking, I'm feeling good. By this time, that 65 degrees started getting to be about 75, 80 degrees, but you're still feeling good on the bike. So come in, I looked at my watch, 2:18, I'm like, yeah, baby. That was my fastest ever fastest ever Chattanooga. And I'm like, yeah, buddy. I'm like, I actually thought last year when I went 225, I thought, well, maybe I'll never go to 220 ever again. Because what they don't tell you, it's a 1.4 mile swim, but it's also almost a 57 mile bike ride. I mean, it's an honest course. You're not PRing if you've done a lot of 70.3s at Chattanooga. But so anyway, so like when I looked down, I was at 218. I was almost like 24 and a half miles an hour. That's pretty good for this old fat guy. So come in, transition, jump off, come into the bike, and Brandon was already there because he had like pulled away. And I come in, I'm like, all right, man, let's run. Come out, and I'm feeling pretty good. Hit the porta potty. That's just kind of like, I can't pee on the bike anymore. So I ran in the porta potty, lost probably like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Come out, start running, and I'm like, I have no idea where I'm at on the tracker, but someone yells at me, "You're in 4th place!" And I was like, okay, that's not bad. I can take 4th place. And I'm like, let's see what I can do. And so I start running. And in years past, like last year, I probably ran the first lap super easy. And then, 21, the same exact thing. And then, but my best time I ever did was 18. That's one age group. I got 7th overall. And I thought I ran the first loop real easy, but it turns out like it just was it felt easy because I was still like a 6:30 pace, and that's the day I ran like a 1:29 or 1:28. So anyway, so I come out running and I'm looking down. I'm like, come up the hill, and that's a big long hill. So first mile was under 7 minutes. I was like, okay, I'm cooking. I feel good. And so I'm running. I've caught up to Brandon, past Brandon, and then pretty uneventful. I passed another buddy of mine that I knew was a faster swimmer, and we're in the same age group. So I'm like, okay, that was probably 3rd. So now I'm in 3rd. And so then I'm running, and someone says, probably about a mile or two, someone says, "You're in 2nd place, down by 2 minutes." And I was like, and actually it was my coach. He said, "Let him come back to you." And I was like, okay, I can do that. And so I'm running. First lap, I thought I was running easy, pretty uneventful. I know I did it pretty fast. I mean, it was like a 6:40 pace. I was like, let's go, baby. You get on the second lap, and all those martingales started like not agreeing with me. And by this time, it was getting hot, and there were more people on the course, and you don't know if like you're passing people or you're just running with people. And so it just kind of messed with me mentally. And finally, as I started the second lap, I was like, where am I? I don't want to have to run that hard. This sucks. And I had a buddy of mine who actually made the kit for me, Derek, who runs a 2:27 marathon. He was out there, and I was like, Derek, where am I? He's like, I don't know. I was like, well, run up and catch me because I'm dying, dude, and I'm not going to kill myself. And so he he sprints up to me. He says, you're in 2nd, 3 minutes down. He's like, and 6 minutes up on 3rd place. And I was like, sounds like I'm not getting 1st place today because I don't know if I can make up 3 minutes and 7 miles. So I'm still running, running hard because I wanted a PR or do well. But by that point I was like, yeah, this is going to suck and this is going to hurt. And so I didn't shut it down. I still ran hard, but I didn't turn myself inside out. My main thing on loop 2 was try to make sure I didn't throw up, so turned around, came back, and I actually saw some people. I was like, I don't want them to pass me. Actually, I passed my buddy Seth about mile 6, and he passed me back about mile 8, and I was like, what the hell? But by this time, I was like, leg shot, I'm done. I was just like, get to the top of battery. I get to the top of battery, I'm like, okay, you got 2 miles to go. You can do anything for 2 miles. And so I stumbled over Veterans through North Shore, and then basically you have to do this twice. I mean, there's some hills on the whole course. This is not an easy run course, I'll be honest with you. But so I come up the bridge, and it's just hot by this point. You're on lap 2, you're like, God, I just got a mile to go. In past years, this is where I've dug down, let's go, baby, reach down, and I pulled everything out I've had and to get to the top of that hill. But this time I was like, all right, I'm not catching second or first, and I know third's behind me. Just take it home. And so I'm counting steps. I'm like, just don't throw up. Just get to the top of the bridge. Get to the top of the bridge. And there's people out there like, yay, cheering. I was like, come on, let's go, help me. And so I run across the bridge. That's probably the most majestic spot of the race. Running over the pedestrian bridge. You got people lined up down both sides. You're like, yay. So, but then once you get to the top of the bridge, you loop around for a second lap, or you loop for the finish line. And so I come through, like, yeah, lap 2. They're like, no, you're lap. I'm like, no, I'm lap 2. I'm done. And so turn around, make that turn, and I just run all the way down. I'm looking around. I'm like, there's nobody around me. I'm like, yay, thank you. There's like one pro that had started 10 minutes before me that passed me through the chute, and I'm like, I don't care at this point. I'm like, what's my time? I see the finish line. Everybody's like cheering. I'm like, yay, high fives. Let me do my little woo. And so I did, and I finished, and I ran. It was a 131. It's not what I wanted. I know I got a 127 in me, but that's a tough course, and it was a little long, probably, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making excuses, but it was a little long. That's what I'm gonna go with. And it's always a big party at the end, and you're like, yay! So, and there were people out there taking videos, like some of my friends. To me, Chattanooga is one big party. Like I know a lot of people there, and I love interacting with people and seeing friends, and so that's kind of what it was. It was just one big party afterwards, and you're like, so that's it. That's my race report. I loved meeting so many new people in Chattanooga this weekend, because that's kind of what I did on Friday and Saturday. Yeah, this is an awesome race. I know there was too many people there. It's probably like 3,500 people there. That's probably too many for a 70.3, but man, what an atmosphere. I enjoyed the whole weekend. It's like a vacation, and you train hard during the winter and spring, and I look forward to doing this race. And I like to race hard. I like to compete, and that's one of my things I enjoy doing. But I also enjoy the camaraderie. I enjoy meeting, seeing friends and meeting people, and people come up to me like, hey, Joe, and I was like, yeah, man, I know you from the Facebook group, and we're like high-fiving, and I love cheering people on, and so I always do that after the race. And it's this race is just so much more than the race itself. It's the people, it's the city, it's the location. I enjoy it. Chattanooga's my happy place, and so I'll probably race there until they tell me I can't race anymore, and put me in the grave, or until they stop doing the race there. So, yeah. And if you're watching this and you saw me this weekend, leave a comment or something. Find me on Facebook, the Facebook group. If you're seeing this for the first time, all the fun is, or if you're seeing me for the first time and you're thinking about doing this race, all the fun is on the Facebook group, Chattanooga 70.3. That's where we have all the fun. That's where the swim is canceled, for my haters, because I'm a terrible swimmer. So anyway, that's all I got, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope I didn't put you to sleep. If I did, hey, we cured insomnia, right? So anyway, that's all I got. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all those cool things here on YouTube, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.